So welcome back everyone. Yep, that is of course right. So the Switch has been formally revealed, and so I want to do quite a few videos talking about this. Well, mainly just two. So of course, for my first video we of course have the things that the Switch 2 should do. The Switch, while it was an interesting console, and believe me, did deserve a lot of the recognition it gets, there's some flaws with it. So starting off, we of course have my number 7 pick, those of course being adding themes. Themes were a thing on the 3DS, and they've also been a thing on plenty of other consoles like the PlayStation 3, the PS4, and of course the Xbox One, and Xbox 360. Actually no, the Xbox Series and 360. Oops. But they haven't really been a thing on the Switch, which is unfortunate because, well, it wouldn't have been the perfect console for that, especially with Nintendo's vast library of games. Next up, we of course have achievements and trophies. Now, this is probably going to be very controversial, and honestly, some might disagree with this, but frankly, well, I kind of feel like Nintendo games should start having achievements in them. We've seen this with a few games on the Switch, like Resident Evil 4, Grand Theft Auto, the Definitive Edition, and Red Dead Redemption have all had achievements on them. And I feel like other Nintendo games should be doing that too. I feel like it would actually be quite a bit more fun to play certain games if they had stuff like this. But that's, well, honestly, my opinion. Next up, we of course have more third-party games. Now, the Switch was fantastic when it came to third-party games, but it could have definitely been a lot better. Now, while there were some really good third-party games like Skyrim, the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, Red Dead Redemption, and of course Persona 5, among others on the Switch, this generation also had a lot skipped out on it. Obviously, I'll be making another video where I'll be going more in depth about this. So, obviously, moving on to my next pick, and is of course no more cloud games. Cloud games are just honestly one of the banes of existence when it comes to the Switch. Games like Resident Evil 2, 3, 7, and Village are all on cloud, and I think it's the same thing with Kingdom Hearts 3. Well, some games can fit on cartridges or can be digital downloads like The Witcher and the Mortal Kombat series. Having these games solely on the cloud, honestly, this kind of erases any ability to really want them because, well, you can either find them cheaper on other consoles and you actually can own these games. Not to mention, you won't need a Xbox Live subscription or a PSN subscription to even be able to properly use these games because I think you need an NSO subscription to even be able to play cloud games. Next up, we of course have changed the NSO to something more like Game Pass or PlayStation Network. Honestly, I don't like the NSO. I really don't. I think it's very flawed and just really uninteresting. Now, I feel like they could change it to something like Game Pass or PlayStation Network, where they include some of their games as a part of a monthly plan, or just make a separate tier service like that. So of course, next up we of course have a new eShop. So this is of course talking about the eShop. Again, it's flawed, and I think the 3DS eShop was a lot better because, well, yes, well the Switch does offer the Switch does still offer plenty of games. When it comes to retro games, the Switch kind of falls a bit in comparison because, well, you need an NSO subscription. While on the 3DS, well, if you want to play Super Mario, well, you just needed a few dollars and not a subscription. And I get this one probably makes more money, but honestly, again, I just don't think NSO is really worth it even for all of that. Next up, we of course have, well, better controllers. This is probably the biggest issue with the Switch. not the Joy-Cons themselves, but with the Pro Controllers too. The Pro Controllers honestly feel really cheaply made at times compared to other consoles, and I've heard plenty of issues with Joy-Con drift. Now, I have not had issues with that. I've had issues with Pro Controller drift though, and it is kind of unfortunate having to replace $60 controllers after barely having used mine for a year. But that's all I really have to say about the Switch 2 and how it could improve. Hopefully Nintendo does make some vast improvements to the Switch. I'm sure that the Switch 2 will be extremely successful, but I'm definitely interested in to see what they actually do with it. Now, of course, next up I will of course be doing the top 10 games that I want on the Switch 2. So stay tuned for that one. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.